Computer. Yes, let's do that. And we should be recording now. All right. So, my name is Stuart Cantor with the Texas Track and Field Coaches Association. I am here this evening with not just Texas's, but 5 of the nation's top mid and distance athletes. We have Heidi Nielson. We have Brynn Brown, Ben Shearer, Judson Greer, and Bailey Goggans. First off, thank you for taking some time out this evening. How is everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
All right. Well, this has been an extremely weird year. Obviously, none could have ever expected this. So let me ask you first, and I'm just going to look at my screen. I've got Heidi up there in the left-hand corner, Brynn in the right corner, and then the other 3 on the bottom. So Heidi, we're going to start with you. Maybe this is the toughest question of the evening. I don't know. But through all the coronavirus and the shutdowns and everything, what have you learned about yourself?
I don't know. I guess there's been like a lot of different things to learn. I guess I've kind of learned how much like the competition and being with my friends really means to me as part of track, but also how much I like it apart from that, because like I still want to be training even though there's not like a date that I know I'm training for if I'm not with my friends. So it's good to know that like I just like to run, I guess.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, Brynn, it was just a few weeks ago you told me by nature you're actually pretty introverted.
Yeah, I'm definitely not someone to be and like talk a lot and be in a lot of social situations. So I don't know. I've always been like really intrinsically motivated. So like at first I was actually kind of like, oh yeah, like no social interaction. Like I get to chill at home and like do my thing. But I think as it like just went on, weeks went on, I personally got really sick of it. And I mean, I love my family, but I could not stand like I needed to get out of the house, and I definitely missed my friends and teammates. So yeah, I think it made me appreciate my friends and just my teammates and my relationships a little bit more.
Ben, what have you learned about yourself?
For me, I think I'd say that like it's just definitely a lot like different for my training specifically from focusing on like my goal and then having that like ripped away.
Mm-hmm.
So that like momentary goal for that season, just working towards something different, it's a little bit puts you off. But yeah, once I got back onto it, it just everything seems to be flowing right back together.
Excellent. Judson?
Yeah.
Unmute yourself.
My bad.
There you go.
Muted myself earlier. I guess I forgot to put it back. Anyways, I guess I don't have anything too specific. I just think that it's been really important to just keep working and keep running and everything, and know that the work we put in now will still pay off at some point. So I guess I've just learned to keep motivated, even if maybe the result of the work won't come until later on. It's still you still have something to motivate you. It just may not be as close in the future.
Right, because fortunately, all 5 of you are rising seniors, so we still have some time left. Bailey, what have you learned?
It was really tough at first to like run alone and not get to have anyone to train with. But I kind of learned like a new way to like motivate myself and to make goals for myself without having to race. And then like just being alone, I just learned how to just like work by myself and get motivated. So it's been good. But it's been tough not seeing my friends and stuff. I'm having to stay home all the time.
I understand, because when I look at statistics off mile split, Judson, prior to the COVID-19 break or just going into the break, you were number 3 in the United States in both the 16 and the 32. And Heidi, you were number 1 in the entire nation in the 16. And Ben, you were number 2 and number 4 in taps in the 32, 16. Brynn was leading in the 32. Bailey, you're number 4 in Texas in the 800. So when all of a sudden this virus comes down and decisions are being made and you guys are waiting, what was that like for you to finally realize our junior season, as well as it was going, is done?
It was really tough for me because I never got to race the 800 outdoors. So it was really hard because I had big goals for myself. I was gonna like PR and all that. So I never got the opportunity to prove it. I noticed like my workout's been going really well. So I was really excited to like see what I can do. So it's really devastating to not be able to do it. But I've been working on doing working on my own and about to do a time trial. So I'm excited to see how that goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone else talk to me.
I think when I initially found out, I was definitely like disheartened. I think especially with Texas Distance Festival, like that was like the next big thing for me. I was really excited to run the 5K and like chase a really good time, like I with training and just to kind of like put it all out there. And then when that opportunity kind of got swept away, kind of just refocused and worked towards the next big thing. And then, UIL gets canceled. And I think for me, I like to find silver linings. I like to be positive. And I think for me, I really just looked at this time as like a huge opportunity to kind of put in some really good work. I'm not at school. My job, I'm being let off. Like I have all this time. What am I going to do with it? And how am I going to like optimize it? So I think for me, kind of that flip, like that switch just flipped and been able to get in some pretty good work. So I think that's how I kind of view the whole situation. Of course, after mourning and grieving, but yeah.
I understand completely. I was so looking forward to seeing all of you at Texas Relays and, the TAPS and the UIL state meets, et cetera, et cetera. Judson, what was your immediate reaction when all this news came down?
Yeah, I know for me, like I'm in this one like Snapchat group chat with a couple other kind of just good juniors across the country, mostly like friends from Foot Locker and stuff. And I remember waking up and they were just all texting about how like New Balance was canceled, and I wasn't going to New Balance, but I just remember thinking like, oh man, that stinks. But y'all should have come to TDF. I mean, that's still going down and everything. And I was really excited for that to happen. But then, once I got that text from my friend that Texas Distance Festival was canceled for 1 second, I was just like so mad, but I just kind of I don't know, let it out, I guess. So I was definitely really upset. And then when it came to like the whole actual UIL being canceled and everything, I was kind of expecting at that point. I was actually kind of like in the middle of a workout, and I just kind of kept at it, kept going to work, and I was just looking forward to hopefully that work paying off, in cross country and in the future.
Yeah, I hear you. I even had to unfortunately cancel our meet of champions, so everything pretty much did. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, so for me, I think I'd definitely say that like my immediate reaction was that I mean, I was upset. I didn't really get to put up any times I was happy with the season, but as far as my training went, like nothing really changed too much. It just kept rolling how it was going, and just had to set my eyes on something a little bit further, a little bit bigger.
Fair enough. And Heidi?
Yeah, I mean, my reaction was just, I was really sad because I had I was coming off an injury in cross country season, and I had a lot of really big plans for what this year was going to be like. And then to just have like all of them like taken away, like one by kind of like really hard to like deal with, but everybody's dealing with it. So, I mean, it just, I don't know.
Well, the fortunate thing, and you guys already know this, what's fortunate is you're not pole vaulters, you're not high jumpers, so you don't have to worry about a facility being closed and having to go get poles and equipment. So you are still able to train. How are you guys training?
So for me, I like right when it happened, I was having like some minor like injuries. So right whenever I could see that like most everything was canceled, I took like a little bit of a break, and I've been doing like a lot of cross training and stuff. I have a pool in my backyard, so I like have been using that, and so I've just been like building a lot of base, getting ready for like next season.
Fair enough. Now, Brynn, part of your training last week included a 3,200 that mile split covered where you ran, let me see if I have the time here, basically 9:39 and change.
Yes.
Which if it were official would be number 2 all time behind Mary Kane. Now, right now, your 3,200 time converted from the 2 mile is number 1 all time in Texas. What are you looking forward to 3,200 wise when we get back to track season? Because right now your converted 2 miles 9:54:07. So how far do you think you can lower this?
Yeah, so that 9:39 was kind of just like this impromptu, like we needed to see like just a little fitness check to see if the training was paying off. And so I got some of the guys I've been running with, they were back from college, and so we decided just to pace 72s and see how that felt. So like it was definitely more of a workout vibe than necessarily a race, but we ended up filming it and publishing it as like a time trial. So that was pretty cool. But I don't know, I think with like the race adrenaline and just that atmosphere, like being at a race like Brooks PR like I was at last year would be awesome, and I can't wait for that to happen again. Like even with cross, like the next time I get to toe the line, like I'm just super excited for that. Yeah, definitely just the future in that event, and honestly any race. I love to compete, so I'm just super excited.
Now, Ben, you've mentioned you really didn't take too much of a break from trainings. That as far as running wise, it sort of just seamlessly went on. What have you been doing?
So I've been continuing my training and just set my training to act as like a time trial where state would have been, and then just take a bit of a reset and then get going back for cross country a bit earlier, actually, just get a bigger base and continue from there.
Heidi, have you started transitioning into cross country yet?
Yeah, I have.
And how does one transition from what would have been the end of track season now to get your body and your mind ready for cross country?
I don't know, just sort of like, I mean, my mileage is still pretty low right now. I've just been like really taking it pretty gradual, just and like I said, doing a lot of cross training and stuff, and just sort of like accepting the fact that like track season isn't happening this year, and just trying to like focus on cross country and like what's gonna happen there. So I don't know.
And Bailey, here's a question for you. I was talking with a coaching friend of mine, about a half hour ago, and we were trying to compare you to someone, and we couldn't think of who that might be. So, and here's the reason why. Because you can flat out run a 400.
I like the
You can run an 800 because you've got the number 4 all-time time in Texas, which was one of your indoor times. But you also run cross country. So it's sort of weird, a little bit freakish to go from 400 to mid distance and still be competitive at the distance. So what is your favorite event out of all of this?
For the longest time, it was the 400. Like in middle school, that's all I ran. But then one day, like freshman year, they decided to throw me in the 800 last minute, and I was dreading it. Just the fact of running like 2 laps terrified me. But then, like after that, like it went pretty well. My splits were totally, like really bad. I went out in like 59, but I ended up running like 2:11. That was one of my first times ever doing it, and I realized like that was my favorite event. So probably the 800 now. I just like the it's kind of like all guts like a race, but there's also a lot of strategy to it. So it's kind of a little bit of both.
Oh, it's no doubt. There's a lot of guts to that race. You're done with one lap, and it's like, I got to do this
Another
again.
one. Yeah. So
Yeah,
probably the 800.
because that was indoors. New Balance 206.1.
Yes. That was my best time last year.
Yeah, well, that puts you number 4 all time in Texas. Judson, how are you transitioning now from what would have been the end of track into oncoming cross country season?
Yeah, well, first of all, sorry, I was having some trouble with my internet and stuff, but now I'm on my
Not a
dad's
problem.
hotspot, so hopefully it's fine now. But I'd say like mostly I've still been training fairly similar to how I would have been for track and all of that. I've maybe kind of eased it up in some senses, but also kind of even made other areas a little bit harder. Like I've probably increased the mileage a little bit, but often a little less intense. I still do some hard workouts and stuff, but like some of the runs in between might be a little bit easier and stuff. So but just a little bit less intensity, but maybe some more miles, but still able to get those hard workouts in to improve and that sort of thing. So it really hasn't been too different from I think how it would have been, but just a little bit less intensity for the most part. So but training's been going well overall, and I'm excited to keep working over the summer and everything for cross country.
Fair enough. Now, Ben, of the 5 athletes here, you're the only one not in UIL. You're in TAPS. What are some of the differences you see running TAPS versus UIL? Because you've obviously made quite a name for yourself, not only in Texas, but nationally. So talk to us a little bit about what it's like running in TAPS.
Well, okay, I think for TAPS athletes, there's a bit of a barrier between like the level of competitiveness, and like there's a big difference between the amount of like times you'll see between TAPS and UIL, obviously. And it just kind of takes an athlete from TAPS to just realize that they can break through that barrier and be something that the environment kind of provides for them, and that they can become well known like nationally as well as locally.
So were you following someone like Carter Cheeseman pretty closely, or?
Oh yeah, from when he was going in high school, I was keeping up with what he was doing.
Fair enough. All right, Heidi, I'm going to start this next round of questions with you. From 2018 to 2019, all of you took your times to elite levels, to where you're not just being recognized in the state of Texas from Mile Split or our association, local news, et cetera, but now you're being recognized on a national basis. So Heidi, critique yourself. You're all elite runners, but if you want to take yourself to what may be even the next level, what do you need to work on? What's going to make you become an even better runner?
I guess there's like other parts of like training that like add in more effectively, like I follow like pros and stuff and see what they're doing, and like things like dieting better or better like weight workouts and stuff are things that I haven't really been able to figure out how to incorporate that in training, and those are things that I want to figure out how to incorporate in my training to help me the next level, just like stuff like that to add.
Fair enough. Bailey, critique yourself. You're going to be an 800 star, so what do you need to do to get better?
So I kind of been reflecting on like my training, like what I'm missing, and I kind of realized I'm missing like the strength and the speed part of it. I've been doing a lot more distance based, and I kind of feel like that made it a lot harder for me to get that light turnover in the 800. So I would say probably trying to add in some like strength work and like training, like faster paced stuff to just help me like more the speed side for that second
Excellent.
lap and stuff.
Yeah, there is no substitute for speed.
Yeah. For
Ben,
sure.
go ahead, critique yourself.
For me, I'd say it's definitely just the little things that a lot of athletes kind of skip over,
Mhm.
like just getting better sleep, getting core workouts in, eating, hydration, all that kind of stuff. I think that kind of plays into my just keeping my body healthy. Previously in my training, that's what has set me back the most, I'd say, getting injured or getting sick.
Now, Heidi mentioned an injury earlier. I know Brynn has had injuries. Ben, have you also recently come back from an injury?
Yeah, so during my training from cross country to track, I had an injury in my knee, and then I got a respiratory illness a little bit before then. And so I was just coming back off that and getting back into the groove of things when track started up.
Gotcha. All right, so we've got a better diet, speed work, rest. Judson, what can you add to this? If you're going to critique yourself for the next level, how are we getting better? How are we improving?
Yeah, I'd say mine would be fairly similar to what some other people said in terms of like with the strength training and stretching and that sort of thing. I think that's definitely a big thing that I could improve on. I certainly do a bit of it now, but just stretching and strength training to me a lot of times can feel really boring and stuff. But it's definitely a really important part to incorporate into your training and everything. So I'd say that's a big area that I could improve upon, and then. Another one would be kind of similar to Bailey's, would just be kind of getting a bit more speed about me, I guess. I definitely do like kind of mostly just long distance, strength work in my workouts and everything. And I definitely have like fast parts incorporated into the workouts, but I think I could work a bit harder during those parts, especially since it can be a little bit hard to push myself, because even before this, I'm usually on my own in training, and I find that it's kind of harder to push myself on those real short, fast reps. So just got to kind of push myself more on those and work to get that, fast speed. So I think that would definitely help me a lot.
Fair enough. Brynn, finish us up on this round.
I mean, I think they pretty much covered everything. But for me, yeah, I've definitely I love getting out there and doing like long runs, tempo runs, just all those like base long miles. But I think for me, my biggest improvement will come from, doing sub pace work, getting faster. My form has definitely been something I've been trying to critique too. Just trying to become as efficient as possible, and then getting in the weight room. And I'm really fortunate, and Geyer has an awesome strength and conditioning program, but really working with our strength and conditioning coach and just working and getting strong and, stuff like that. And then of course the little things like eating right, sleeping right, doing your prehab exercises and some extra core work, I think all those things add up just to make the monotony of those things make you a really good runner.
Awesome. So, Judson, you're now entering your senior year, as is everyone here. Let's look back your first 3 years. We'll even consider this junior year a complete year now. What's your favorite track and field or cross-country memory?
I don't know. That's hard. In terms of like racing, I think, well, first of all, Nixon and Foot Locker are definitely both kind of really fun experiences. But in terms of racing, I think one of my favorite races would just be my 3200 at state my sophomore year. I kind of we went out like pretty relaxed for the most part and everything, and I wasn't really planning on running the race necessarily that way, but that's just kind of how it turned out. And then basically just kind of I negative split like almost the whole race. Like my second lap was slower than my first one, but from there it was all negative splits, and I just felt kind of better and better as the race went on. And that was the first time that I'd won state in a track event. So that was just giving me a lot of confidence. And I just felt really good during that race. Like some races sometimes go well, but you still like maybe didn't necessarily feel that great. But I just felt really smooth during that race. And it was really nice to get the first state win on the track. So that was definitely a fun memory for sure.
Didn't you double? Did you got to
Yes,
16
sir.
and to 32?
Yes, sir. That night I won the 1600, which was, that was a fun race too. I remember beforehand, I don't know if this is like TMI, but I needed to pee so bad. So I was just happy to be able to
Be honest.
pull it off, because it's like the worst I've ever needed to go in my entire life. So I was glad to just hold it together and get through the race. But yeah, that was definitely, really added to that day. That was definitely a really good day, and saw a lot of hard work pay off. So it was a lot of fun.
If it makes you run faster, you do what you got to do. All right, Ben, talk to us. Give us one of your favorite memories so far.
So probably for me, Nike Cross Regionals was probably my best race I've ran.
Okay.
But one of my favorite memories, because I just was on the verge of feeling confident about making it, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if I could make it. And just doing that gave me so much confidence going into the future in my training and everything else. And it just made me think of the potential that I could do. And so it just really set my sights a lot higher.
Excellent. Bailey.
I would probably say state last year, because that was around the time I was struggling with like low iron issues. And so when I ran the 800, I was like dead tired. And then like less than an hour later, I had to come back and run the 400. And I would say coming back from behind that last straightaway and winning the 400 wasn't necessarily my best time, but just the fact that I was able to do that after I was on the ground dead from the 800, like 45 minutes before that, was really cool.
Well, when it's a state meet and you get one shot, your time doesn't matter. You just have to beat the person ahead of you.
Yeah.
And you did. So like you said before, that's guts.
Mhm.
All right, Brynn, talk to us. What's one of your favorite memories, something that sticks out for you?
I think for me, I'm gonna go back to NXR last year, where like I wasn't as fit as I probably have been in the past, and I didn't really run the best time. But I don't know, just kind of proving to myself and like setting all that doubt aside that I couldn't do it after being injured. I think that was just super cool and super exciting. I think I made like this ridiculous like finish line celebration, but I mean it was a really good memory, and I think that day was probably one of my favorite days.
Awesome. And Heidi?
One of my favorites would probably be Texas Relays my freshman year, because that was like my first like really big, exciting like high school like win and race, and I had only barely broken 5 before the race happened, and then I ran like a 4:53, and I was so excited because I PR'd by so much, and then I had the DMR just like a couple hours later,
Right.
and then like what would have been a PR if I hadn't PR'd earlier. Like I and our team got second, and I had won, and it was just really exciting, and it was just really cool experience, and it was yeah.
Well, I was talking with the director of Texas Relays earlier today, James Barr, and there are a lot of great plans, and let's just hope we're done and we can continue on and get back to normalcy. So, Ben, you're now a rising senior. What can we expect from you in 2021?
That's a good question. Well, just for one, definitely improved times, but can't say for sure. That's up to my competition, I guess.
What are your goals?
Well, I want to place pretty highly at Nike NXN, and I want to go to Foot Locker as well, probably.
Okay.
And other than that, I haven't set my eyes on anything in particular for track, but I'm looking to lower my times pretty significantly, seeing as how I lost a whole season.
Understand. Heidi, so what can we expect from you in 2021? Or if any of you want to take that as what goals you may have, that's fine also.
2021 is gonna be a really good year. Hopefully, if things go as planned. I haven't like figured out what specific goals I'm gonna be focusing on. Like because I want to be like, oh, I'm just gonna do everything, but so I haven't like decided, you know what I mean, like what exact goals are, like if I want to like go to Nike or that kind of thing, but I know that I want to be a lot better, and it's senior year, and I want to like have like just have better races and not get injured.
There you go. Talk to me, Brynn.
So yeah, I'm super excited going to 2021. I think getting this season taken away, kind of expecting a lot of PRs and fun times, but yeah, just hoping everything goes to plan, just to stay healthy and execute a fun senior season. And I feel like every cross country season something like popped up, besides like sophomore year, like freshman year injured, junior year injured, and then sophomore year I don't think I had my best season. So I really just want to execute a solid cross country season, and then obviously keep improving and going into track and just have fun and enjoy my last year in high school.
Fair enough. Judson?
Yeah, definitely really excited for the coming year and everything. I guess any race that I run, I would hopefully want to be in its, win. Well, I guess if it's a race that I'm trying to run hard at and everything, then I just kind of want to, be competing with the nation's best, run a lot of hopefully big meets against some high level competition, and, push myself with some other really good guys, and hopefully, run some fast times and do some big things.
Bailey, you have any specific goals for the upcoming year?
I would say the main thing is I want to make it through a full season healthy. I have yet to do that. And then I kind of want to focus like a lot more on track and like dropping my times in track and like the 4 and the 8 mainly. And then I want to travel a lot until my senior year and like go to a bunch of like fun races.
Are you going to run cross country?
I haven't decided. Every cross country season, I've always gotten hurt and I had to miss like several weeks of training. So if I do cross country, I probably will race a lot less. Just focus on staying healthy and getting ready for indoor. So we'll see.
Fair enough. Ben, how many, what's your mileage per week cross country wise?
So right now I'm doing about 56 miles a week.
Okay.
That's
And
a lot higher than I had done last year. I had done very little last year.
I was just going to ask you, how was that comparatively?
Yeah. Just 35 miles a week to 56 miles a week this year. Bit different, but still keeping it kind of leveled.
Well, is this 56? Will this be a max?
No, it's going to keep rising for a bit and then probably bring it down at some point in the future.
Okay. Judson, what do you run on an average week? What's your mileage?
Yeah, my mileage is usually pretty high. I'd say, I guess it could be really anywhere from, more around when I'm racing, it might just be around like 50 to 60, or if it's in the summer, then I'll up to like 70 to 85 or so, especially if recently I've been doing a little bit of doubles. I hadn't in the past done any doubles. And I do those a little bit more often, but most of the time when I do, I'm just running real easy and relaxed, nothing super strenuous. So yeah, I'd say my mileage can be like around 70 or higher, but I'm not like killing myself.
Fair enough. Brynn, what's your mileage?
Right now it's like 50 to 60 miles a week. I do a lot of cross training to supplement like a double run, for example, too. I think with being injured and kind of experiencing like just being injured sucked, and I don't want to do that again. So I think I supplement a lot of my miles with cross training. I'd rather be safe than sorry, and then obviously save some development for college and, maybe even onward past that. But I think my highest mileage has been like high 50s, maybe a low 60 mile a week.
Okay. Heidi?
I feel like normally during training, I would run like 45 mile weeks would be like what I would do during a normal season.
That's fair. Now, Bailey, are you doing mileage like that, or are you doing shorter work with more speed, considering you're more of an 800 girl?
So this summer kind of been changing it up because I wanted to work on speed work just because since I'm not gonna race, I didn't want to go like a full year without like tapping into my speed. I didn't want to like lose that, like those fast twitch muscles. So my mileage has been a lot less. I've been like doing speed work some days, but then I'm still keeping in my long run. So I'm probably doing about 25 miles right now.
Okay.
So it's a lot lower than I used to, but
Fair enough.
it's been good.
All right, so now that we're all rising seniors, we have one last topic I want to touch on. How is the recruiting process going right now? I know all of you are going to be, I'm sure you have already received tons of mail, email, whatever. Heidi, how is the process going for you? Have you and your parents sat down and started seriously, considering choices?
I mean, yeah, the process is going. It's kind of like hard right now because we're not allowed to visit in person.
Right.
It's been really confusing. I'm not 100% sure where I want to go. It's been hard for me to like make a list of schools that I do want to go to,
Mm-hmm.
So it's just been kind of confusing, and I'm just trying to figure out as I have conversations like with the coaches, like seeing, if I like them or not and stuff. That's been like the main thing I've been doing in quarantine, other than is talking to coaches on the phone. And so it's just been interesting. I'm still trying to figure it all out.
Well, and for the five of you, I mean, and this is all purely out of respect, when you reach the level that you guys have, it can get overwhelming with the amount of coaches and contact, coming your way. So, Ben, have you started wading through this process yet?
Yeah, so I've had a few colleges contact me and just gone through different calls and that kind of stuff, getting letters, sorting through them.
I noticed that at the first two I've asked, no one's actually said the name of a college yet. So we're gonna see if Judson's gonna spill any beans for us yet. But Judson, how's the process going for you?
Yeah, it's been going well for the most part. I actually probably even reached out to places even earlier than I needed to. So I've been kind of in contact with a few places for a while now, and some, new ones coming up too and everything. Just right now, just trying to keep that contact and, have those relationships and everything. And like you said, it definitely can be overwhelming, especially now. I appreciate that places are kind of able to reach out a lot more, but like you said, it makes it a bit overwhelming sometimes and can be kind of hard to get back to everyone and everything. But definitely appreciate the calls and everything like that. So yeah, just kind of calling and talking to places and trying to learn more about the program, and definitely excited for once we'll be able to actually visit places again, because I think that'll definitely really help narrow it down.
So the three of you that have vaguely answered about colleges, even though you've mentioned the recruiting process has started, and I'm certainly not going to bug you, have y'all considered, are you going to sign early, or are you going to wait, or are you looking to get it over with and then move on with life?
I was going to say, I feel like before I was probably planning on maybe making that decision pretty early, just since I had kind of been talking to some places for a while. But now with COVID-19 and everything, I feel like I might end up coming a little bit later and everything, just because, I still want to obviously visit the places that I'm really interested in. And I don't want to try to visit a bunch of places really quick during cross country season, because I'm hoping that's when it'll happen. I don't want to be too busy and traveling all the time doing that. So, just want to make sure I take my time and don't wear myself out with traveling all over. So I feel like it might happen like a little bit later than it maybe would have normally.
Fair enough. Ben?
Yeah, I'd say preferably it would be earlier than later, but just depending on how things go, I want to really just make the right choice.
That's fair.
Just take all the information and process it.
And Heidi?
Yeah, I was planning to make the decision pretty early, but it'll just depend, like, I'm able to go on visits and stuff, because I don't want that decision, because it's a huge decision. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I mean, yeah, I was hoping before this all I would be able to make it pretty early, but what happens, I guess.
I understand, and the NCAA came out with another statement yesterday. I don't know if y'all are aware of it, meaning that your ability to have an official visit on campus is now extended, or you can't do it all the way through the end of July. So they're not helping you by any means. Bailey, what do you think? How's the process going for you?
It's been a tad overwhelming right now, just because during quarantine, a lot of coaches have been like reaching out to me, I guess, can I have more time? And it's hard to narrow it down. I think I have a top 5, but then a new coach will contact me and I'm like, oh, I like them too. I don't know. So it's always changing. But I think I have about 5 in mind that I'm looking to visit to when we get the chance to do that.
All right. Well, since you said you have 5 in mind, I'll ask the question that Ben was just going to. Are you going to let us in on this? You don't have to if you don't want to.
I don't know. It's not set in stone yet, so I feel like I probably shouldn't say anything yet.
Fair enough.
Maybe in the future.
Brynn, how's the process going for you?
Yeah, I can relate to what everyone said. I think this whole time, like, phone calls have kind of gotten a little overwhelming, but I think I've been talking, like, I personally reached out to a few schools, like, my sophomore year that I knew I was going to be interested in. So, like, I have definitely, like, I think three schools that I know that I'll be visiting and that I'm really going to analyze and, like, view my options there. But now, like what Bailey said, you know, you'll get a call from another coach and like, oh, kind of considering this idea too. So I think it's just a whole process and I'm still figuring it out. I don't have much knowledge about it, but yeah, I was hoping to make the decision fairly early just because I didn't want to be dealing with it while the cross country season was hectic. But
Right.
I mean, with the whole thing, I guess we just don't know. It's really uncertain. So, but I want to take my time and make sure I make the best decision for sure.
Of course, and that's the smart thing to do for all of you because you're spending your next 4 years there. You have to be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So Heidi, before we leave, have you learned anything new during this? Have you learned how to play guitar or bake or anything?
I started learning how to skateboard. That's probably not the safest thing to learn how to do, though. But
I'm sure your coaches are just happy with that. Can you do any tricks?
not really. I'm too scared to do like dangerous ones, but I can like kick my board up like and flip it with my feet and stuff. But I mean, it's
There you go. Well, you know, we're all in the same boat. So all of a sudden I've learned how to do house repairs by watching YouTube. So it's what we're doing. Bailey, what have you learned? Anything new?
I've been baking a lot more and just like doing a lot of grocery shopping for our family. So that's been fun because I never really had a lot of time. Like,
What are you
doing
baking?
I've been making like, a lot of like breakfast things, like muffins, and a lot of like healthy recipes, like dinner, like pastas and stir
All
fry,
right.
stuff like that. So I got like a cookbook too. So that's been fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
So in other words, for the 6 of us here, when we all meet at Texas Relays, Bailey's bringing us muffins.
Oh no. We'll see.
Ben, anything?
I mean, I guess I've been trying to learn piano a little bit.
All
I've
right.
had this piano just sitting in my room for like about a year now. I haven't done anything with it. And then just finally.
There you go. All these hidden talents, Judson.
Yeah, I'd say mine would probably be I've been playing some tennis recently. I just kind of decided that I wanted to start doing that as a hobby and stuff. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of tennis for the most part. So I guess I'd say that's probably what I've been kind of doing as a hobby. Also probably like cycling a little bit more than I used to. I mean, you can kind of see my bike back there. So
Yeah.
I've been doing that a little bit more often too. So yeah, I guess the tennis thing would probably be my biggest quarantine hobby that I've picked up.
That's awesome because in tennis, you're so concentrating on playing the actual game, you don't realize you've just put in 3 or 4 miles.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's a lot of fun. I grew up playing tennis. Brynn?
Yeah, I've definitely been cooking and baking a lot more. I have like a little side hustle, and switching in the kitchen. So gotta get out some new recipes for that. And it's been nice being able to kind of like write some more blog posts and kind of like put a little more work into there. And then with my other spare time, I've been like, not necessarily hobbies, but my daddy owns a piece of land in Munster. So we're thinking about starting this like wood business. So like we'll chop down trees and then like keep the wood and then sell it in the winter when everyone wants it. So
There you
that's
go.
been having a lot of Nerf gun fights with my brother, playing basketball with my sister, just being more involved like with my family, I think has been a big thing for me too during this time.
That has really been the overall blessing in disguise behind this whole thing, is to be able to recognize some of the things that really are a lot more important now, like your family and getting back and understanding who you are amongst the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Heidi, Bailey, Ben, Judson, and Brynn, I certainly appreciate you taking time out of your evening to talk a little bit about your lives and how you've been doing so far and what we can look forward to in 2021. And we hope to see, obviously, PRs and titles for everyone. And we wish all of you the best of luck.
Thank you.
You.
It was fun.
Thank you.
All right, we will talk with you soon. Have a good evening.
You too. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.